to ECSports. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great. Doing great. How about you, Danny?
I'm just looking at these numbers. I'm just looking at what we can look at for these upcoming bets.
Yeah. I'm about to go in on some people on this one. Danny, what we got tonight?
How about them Bears, though?
Yeah, I took them on the money line last night.
Did you?
After
I saw that actually. How did that go for you? How'd you go? Yeah, I saw that.
I did it after Zappe. You know why? Because I knew Vegas was going to go crazy because they were feeding off the fans like idiots. And I saw how Justin hasn't been doing that all year. Like immediately, those were run plays for him. Like he had 12 design run plays. This is my analytic part. He had 12 design run plays last night. He had 12 total in his first since he started. Like design run plays for him.
So what you're saying is the Bears offense needs to utilize him like Jalen Hurts.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Noted.
Like it just, I mean, he had over 75 yards rushing. It was the flow of the offense. It was a great game.
That was the only way they were going to win if Justin ran.
That's the only way they will win.
That's what the Patriots struggle in. They struggle they struggle the most when QBs are running the ball, period.
Yeah, definitely. What did you think of the game, Danny?
I mean, it was a beatdown, and I think Mac Jones might have a little bit of a QB controversy going on between Mac Jones and Bailey Zappe. I think Zappe actually has a lot more confidence than Mac. I think he's just balling out. I mean, a couple throws he made were pretty nice, especially Jacoby Myers. That one to Devontae Parker was really nice too.
It looked like the players it's like they want to play different with that dude. Like they were doing some acrobatic ass catches and twisting their body. I just didn't see them doing that for Mac Jones.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I know what you were saying to us yesterday. You were saying, is that pretty disrespectful of Belichick to test out both QBs?
Yeah.
It's up in the air because I think the New England way, they like to keep everything hush-hush under wraps until it actually happens. But at the same time, you kind of have to have some kind of like cue, like, hey, either Bailey's playing tonight, or it's Mac. You can't just go in and kind of rotate them like pitchers, you know what I mean? Because the whole offense.
On the radio, I heard that he had given like a tell prior to the game saying, this is what we're going to do, so no one assume anything. It's not a benching. I plan on playing both of them, blah, blah, blah. Well, he started off hot, and then he finished with a fizzle, throwing 2 interceptions to both of our rookies. And I just feel like, let me preface this. I do not think we're going to do anything this year. However, if they play tough like that, it'll be a better way to evaluate what we have. So when Ryan Poles gets his own people in, it's easier to like divvy out, all right, this guy's good, this guy, blah, 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 instead of just throwing people out there and assuming, all right, we'll see what happens.
So if you're a betting man, I would say, right, Dion? And you too, Ivan. Where do you see Mac Jones playing quarterback next year?
Not in New England.
England's tied. If Bailey Zappe shows out for, let's say, another stretch of games, either Mac Jones goes down or he gets benched, do you think they move Mac Jones? And if so, where does he go?
I honestly feel like that I wouldn't be surprised, depending on the situation, of what happens this year. It's just I don't see you keeping both of them. Yes, he's a professional, blah blah blah, but somebody's gonna want a Mac Jones on their roster to possibly start if they're Zappe. That's just how I feel. Now, who he goes to is a toss up. I mean, the Colts are having issues clearly by benching a guy who actually got hurt, specifically stating Matt Ryan's injury is not why whatever his name is starting. It's because he's getting benched. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, you guys got all the names and numbers, but I would have to look at the entire NFL again, like I did last night. But I think I saw two teams, Colts being one that would possibly be in the vicinity of needing a quarterback.
I agree.
Okay. Is your gut telling you that, or is that what?
My gut? Yeah, definitely my gut. I don't know about. I'm sure Ivan's is more about analytics.
I kind of agree with you going with the Colts. I can also kind of see him as a fit with New Orleans. There's always that controversy between Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston always being pro-injured. I mean, that could also be. And I was seeing some rumors on the 49ers as well. I mean, Trey Lance is done. And then you got Jimmy Garoppolo in the back. I mean, they're still kind of in need of another QB there.
Jeez.
It's iffy.
I mean, I could see, honestly, I could see Indianapolis going for it. They've been trying out bridge quarterback after bridge quarterback these past 2 years, actually 3 years, because they had Phillip Rivers before Wentz.
Yeah.
Now they can get the guy with Mac Jones. You never know. But speaking of gambling, I know we were mentioning this on the last show, and I really want your guys' take on this between analytics and the data versus a gut feeling. And Ivan said it best, like, if you're gut better, you stick with that because that typically gives you wins. But if you're an analytical guy, how far will that take you? So I want to get your guys' takes on how far the numbers will get you and the gut feeling.
Well, I had this topic because I was interested in it, and I'm not I don't want anyone to think that I'm, picking at Ivan or anybody that has analytics because they work for certain situations. Ivan's actually won me money early in the season on his analytics. However, there are situations where you have to take into the account the gut factor too. That's why I always feel like if you put both of them together, that'll be a better situation. Perfect example, Ivan had a 4-teamer. Yeah, the Giants money line with the Jaguars. That I was in agreement. And then I think I said something about the middle games. Danny in our group chat. It was the Niners money line over the Chiefs that didn't fold. And then the Texans over your Raiders. I'm sure Danny didn't take that, hence the left L, as you can see, which I didn't agree with either. And I forgot what the last one was. But he gave, a lot of analytical guys, they talk about like this team
Trends.
Trends over the last 3 years. Most of the time, sometimes 90%, 3 years ago, this team wasn't even the same, right?
Yep.
I look at situations with the Niners like I just feel like the Chiefs aren't going to come out and get their ass kicked 2 weeks in a row. I look at it like that with my gut.
Exactly.
I look at the Texans as they are just terrible, period. They're going to play tough. I would take them, sometimes to cover, but they're just not good, right? And then and this is where I was trying to go with analytics instead of listening to my gut, which was saying Brady has been playing like shit stain, and so have the Buccaneers, and they played exactly how I thought, and I was pissed off with that. And then those Falcons, that was his last one, the plus 6.5. Like
they got their asses handed.
Like it just like, and I was in the back of my head, well, the way Mariota played last week, I'm thinking of that instead of just going with the fact of, and I think it was some with the Titans. I'm high on the Titans. I think I text in the group chat, like Titans are coming off a bye, freaking blah, 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 blah. They almost gave it away with fucking giving Malik Willis on a jet sweep. But overall, I always try to go with gut. And then I'll go to one more thing, and I'll let you guys talk about one huge bet that I didn't go with my gut. Actually, I didn't have a chance, but it was a UFC fight. The guy was an underdog, and I knew of him. He was like a journeyman guy. His brother died that week, right?
Wow.
He wanted to fight for his brother. That's something you take into account. He fucking submitted the guy within 20 seconds. And he was like a plus 300 dog. Those are the type of things you got to look at in reference to the gut. What do you guys say on your end?
I think.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you on that. I mean, there's little stuff like that will affect the entire outcome as a whole. Like if you're, I mean, was that his brother you said?
Yeah, it was his brother.
Yeah, if that's your brother, I mean, you're gonna fight for your life there. Like
Yeah,
that's most situations. Like you just lost somebody, like that's huge. So like I definitely can see why you can go with that gut feeling because you know better than anybody else about UFC. So that's huge, for sure. Like in this case, for me being analytical, like yesterday with the Bears and Patriots, I saw multiple systems saying like they covering teams need to be faded, especially on road dogs like that had a bad game before. Like there was a huge system for that. I looked at it and it made sense. I myself took the Bears spread because of that system alone. I didn't think they were going to win, but it ended up being that outcome. So in that case, like you can really go with that money line or that spread pick. It just depends how you.
Now, what do you guys think? I've watched every Bears game and I've seen them, right?
Yep.
I didn't see a Texans type team, meaning they are just atrocious. It looks like they're trying. And like I said, I didn't take the money line immediately. I was thinking it the whole way. When Zappe came in and they were up 10-7 and Justin just threw an interception, I still was like, no, I just got this feeling they're going to win the way Justin's been playing, blah, blah, blah. Like what in my head was making me do that at that point in time? It wasn't like I'm gonna take the Bears because I'm a Bears fan. I was like, I bet they're gonna fucking think this guy's gonna come in and save the day, and I think Justin's gonna kill.
Yeah. It's just because you have to see how the things play out. They still have to play the game. That's another thing when it comes to analytics, right? I look at it in this kind of sense that you can't always rely on data because data is only on a piece of paper, right? They actually have to go out, play the game, run through their place and the game script, right? So the Bears had a game script where we're going to get our most talented player on offense, Justin Fields, involved in every single play. Typically, if you get someone like that in space and it's been working, it's going to work. So analytics will only take you so far. And I look at it like in a basketball term, like those Houston Rocket teams that solely relied on analytics, right? 3-point shots or layups. They would never take a mid-range shot. What was Chris Paul's strength? Pick and roll, mid-range shots. He was limited in that area. James Harden would dribble, try to find somebody or chuck up a three. The game against the Golden State Warriors where they missed 27 straight threes, they were not trying to take a mid-range shot to save their life. That's where analytics could fail you. You still have to go out and play the game. Yes, it's the most statistically best shot to take is a three-pointer because of the reward, right? And a layup. You're going to get the closest amount to the basket. So what's the point of the mid-range game, right? It's a lost art, all this. You still have to put that's why the eye test comes in. If you can get a bucket anywhere, you're still providing a positive net outcome to your team.
Yep.
So I look at analytics as something where it's great to have and use, but it cannot be the sole reason why you do something or pick something.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Absolutely.
I look at it as a hybrid.
Yep. Go ahead.
But yeah, I was gonna say moving on to that. Speaking of gambling, we can go with gambling, gut versus hybrid. Phillies, Astros World Series starts this Friday, game 1. We look at the odds here. The Astros are favored by 1.5 runs. Money line bets, we got Astros minus 170, Phillies plus 143. We got Wheeler versus Verlander. Who do you guys got? Game 1. Who do you guys got for the series? Would you use the gut or the analytics with this?
You know, I'm all gut. My boy Dusty all day. Fuck you talking about?
Ooh.
Okay.
Dusty all day.
Ivan?
It's a tough one. I like the analytical standpoint here, but then again, like I've been kind of watching baseball recently, so I definitely would like to include my gut in here. First game, I really like Phillies to come out strong and take the first game. That just shows like that's only if like Nick, how do you say his last name, Castellanos, like shows up. If he shows up, he's their main actor. They're in Houston.
Okay. Yeah, it's home field advantage goes to the AL because of the All-Star game.
Oh yeah, the All-Star game.
Yeah. I just think Astros probably will take this World Series slowly just due because of the bullpen. Their bullpen ranks first in FPI, and that's at a 3.45. That's insane. Phillies back end pitching kind of worries me here. They're 19th overall. They have really good starters like Zach Wheeler and I forgot what was his other
Noah Syndergaard.
Noah Syndergaard. Him as well. They're all good. It's just like I said, that X factor to win to that series is going to be Nicky Castellanos and how he hits.
I think I'm going to go with the Phillies in the series just because they're the hottest team in baseball. Let's be real here. I know the Astros swept the Mariners and then they swept the Yankees. So technically they are hot, but coming into the playoffs, they had to beat the Mets. They had to beat the Padres or the Dodgers, and then they had to beat the Padres. Hottest team in baseball. Bryce Harper's playing out of his mind. He finally has his anger management controlled, so he's playing much better. Pitching looks good. The only thing that concerns me is what you were saying with the bullpen. The Phillies like to use kind of like a closer by committee system. If you look at it, but I still think I'm going to say Phillies in 6. I think they steal game 1. And then it's kind of a back and forth battle, but I say Phillies in 6. Wow. I think my World Series MVP is going to be Bryce Harper. I think he shows out.
Okay.
Show the baseball worldwide is one of the best.
There are some people that have a future bet for that one for Bryce.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be a good one. I think. Speaking of future bets, quickly NBA. Speaking of Philly too, we got the 76ers starting off 1-3, looking like they're going to be firing Doc Rivers, and probably D'Antoni's going to take over as the head coach. They got all guys. And then the Brooklyn Nets 1-2. Which team has a better chance, if you were going to place a bet, to make the NBA Finals? Live bets right now, if you were to place it, Sixers are a plus 1,700, and the Nets are a plus 700. Who would you put your money on to make the NBA Finals in this situation? Both teams under 500. Obviously, it's still very early, but go ahead.
I have to go Philly. They have a lot of young help. Brooklyn is just a shit show, bro. They're a trash dump. They claim that everything is copacetic, and Ben Simmons is I never liked that dude. His personality's awful. I don't know. Kevin Durant did not want to be there. I'm sure they had a meeting saying, bro, no one's gonna give us what we want for you. Well, is it like they don't want to look at him like Kyrie's playing like Kyrie, but it's just I don't know. It doesn't look good on either squad to me. But Philly, if I had to pick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like either team either to make it to the finals. But if I had to pick, it would probably be the Sixers too. Because, I mean, like Dion said, like they have a better depth, like better bench. The only thing that kind of scares me here is that huge liability on the injury. I mean, Embiid played 68 out of the 82 games last year, 55 out of the 72 the year prior to that. He's never played more than 68 games last season, and will continue. He will have.
That's a perfect thing. Like when I hear analytics like that, you're talking about that guy, right? When you go to NFL, you're talking like a team that's probably not the same. But when you go to the NBA and you condense it to, all right, Harden's played this way these amount of years. It's the same guy. Embiid, I would listen to those analytics. That motherfucker gets injured. I think last year was his best year in reference to games played. So just to go back to that real quick, the analytics in NBA are far more suitable, in my opinion, than gut.
I agree. I definitely agree with that.
I'm gonna kind of take the curveball here. I'd rather put my money on the Brooklyn Nets. If Kyrie, KD, as they showed out yesterday against the Memphis Grizzlies, who were one of the tougher defensive teams, KD put on a show with 37. Kyrie's doing his thing, and if you can get Ben Simmons, and if you can get Desmond Bane had a great game for the Grizzlies, but if you can get Ben Simmons to buy in defensively and playing more of a forward than an actual floor general, I think that team can really get it together. It's just the fact that the Brooklyn Nets are somewhat of a cesspool of personalities, where it's like you got one ego here, and nobody's kind of cohesive when it comes to front office. That's where the troubling happens. I'm not really concerned about them playing basketball. I'm more concerned about them basically off the court. But I would rather put my money on the Brooklyn Nets to make the finals rather than the 76ers, just because of health. and how far James Harden could take teams into the playoffs. That's the one other thing I was going to mention.
I just want to mention that Matisse Thybulle has only played 5 minutes out of these 4 games that they've played, and that's their best defensive player on the Sixers. How does that make any sense?
Because they're trying to
be out of
trade
there,
him.
man.
They're trying to trade him. He was ended up at the Bulls, I heard last year in the in the back office from what I heard from my sources. So Bulls are really interested in that good. But all right, so great show, guys. We'll see you next week. Hopefully I'll do better on fantasy.
Same.
Tough loss for all 3 of us this week, as I can see.
W for me.
Yeah, you beat.
It's been a while. Yeah,
he beat the freaking new guy that. But with the new guy, at least Austin Eckler dropped 34, up 100 points. You're 1-6, but hey, at least you got the number 1 running back.
Yeah.
ECSports. I'll see you guys next week.